in a day-to-day routine, right, advisors would be sharing recommendations, be it RAs or investment advisors. So, when it comes to sharing their recommendation and their advice, what are some of the best practices that they should keep in mind?
First thing, Gopesh, I would say is to complete the onboarding process.
Mhm, mhm.
I have seen clients, they have already started the services and then they
Hmm,
are doing the
hmm,
paperwork and all.
hmm, hmm,
And it gets diluted somewhere. The
hmm,
paperwork is never completed.
hmm,
That is a
hmm,
very, very big drawback when it comes to compliances.
hmm, hmm,
You need to
hmm,
complete the entire onboarding process. Only
hmm.
then I would recommend that you give your advisory or you give your recommendations, whatever, if you want to issue the research reports.
Right,
That
right.
is there. Second is to give a complete disclaimers,
Hmm,
complete disclosures. Now, this will work in favor of the intermediary only, because
hmm,
what
hmm,
happens if you have given, if you have specifically given these disclaimers and disclosures,
hmm,
it will save you if, let's say, somebody raises a complaint against you in scores.
hmm, hmm,
Right?
hmm,
What
hmm,
happens if you have a proof that these disclosures were given,
hmm,
it will save you,
hmm, hmm,
right? Then that is there. Apart from that is to introduce them to the investor charter.
hmm,
I have seen that it is simply lying in the website somewhere and it's not specifically given to the
hmm,
clients. They
hmm,
don't know what are their rights. They don't know what are their duties.
hmm, hmm.
It also works in favors of the RIAs.
Correct,
And also the RAs, both the
correct,
intermediaries. Reason
correct.
being that they know what investor charter talks about the duties
Hmm,
and the responsibilities of the investors as well as
hmm,
of the intermediaries. Now,
hmm,
when it comes from the investor's perspective, it clearly says that you need to first, take services from the SEBI registered research analyst only.
hmm,
Second is you should not have unrealistic expectations.
hmm, hmm,
Okay, so these are the broad things that are there. Apart from that, I would say that important points also would be to ensure that not to give any fake promises
hmm,
or assurances. There are cases where though everything is given, but there are WhatsApp text that is there where the
hmm.
employee are saying कि sir आप इतने में लगा दीजिए इतना का profit हो जाएगा. It's absolutely, you need to ensure
Hmm.
that you are educating your employees as
Correct,
well, that
correct.
you are if you are not giving, your employees also should be well educated, that
Hmm.
even they are not making such false promises to
Correct,
the
correct,
clients.
correct.
Yes.
Very important. Yeah,
Yes.
yeah. Makes sense. Makes sense. Uh, so there is also this thought about record keeping for future audits, right?
Yeah.
So can you talk about some of the best practices there that advisors should keep in mind as they think about prospective audits, and in general, what are the best practices involved?
The list is pretty long, Gopesh. If I talk about the audits, they actually, the RAs and the RIs need to maintain quite a lot of information,
Correct,
honestly.
correct.
But I'll just mention few of the top important, or top of my head, what are the important
Hmm,
things
hmm,
broadly
hmm,
on the bigger terms, because
hmm,
rest can be, of course, there would be there. One is to maintain the client register.
hmm,
All the RAs and the RIs need to ensure to maintain client register in a proper way.
hmm, hmm,
Okay, to maintain KYCs.
hmm,
Okay, then is whatever recommendations you are giving to the clients,
hmm, hmm,
that needs to be maintained in a
hmm,
proper format.
hmm,
Then if you are giving the research report, good, the research report needs to be signed and dated and maintained.
hmm, hmm,
Okay, then comes the research recommendation. Let's say if RA is giving research recommendations, they
hmm,
need to ensure that the rationales are provided to the clients
hmm,
and the rationales are maintained, duly signed and dated with them.
hmm,
Yes, in case of RIAs, the agreements,
hmm,
the
hmm,
risk profilings, the
hmm,
conversations with the clients from the
hmm,
start.
hmm,
Okay,
hmm.
so that needs to be maintained. If I talk about the conversation part, right? If
Correct,
in between
correct,
the IAs and the
correct.
RAs, what happens in the RAs? You'll have to maintain the records of communication with the clients. It could be
Hmm,
email communication, it could be WhatsApp communications,
hmm,
onboarding emails, whatever, and the
hmm,
recommendations that you're giving.
hmm,
In
hmm,
case of RIAs,
hmm,
the responsibility is little more.
hmm,
Okay, because you need to record the conversations from the prospective clients
hmm,
who is
hmm,
not yet your client
hmm.
from the start, when you are starting the conversation of
Right,
advising,
right, right.
till the time, of course, that is ongoing after that.
Hmm,
You'll have to start your conversation, record your conversations from the start.
Very important. Even when
Yes.
when they're at the prospect stage.
Yes,
Yeah.
yes. So
Yeah.
let's say if it's a body corporate, and they also have a distribution platform, distribution services. So what happens? Let's say if there is a prospective client, you have given them the option to choose if they want to go with the advisory or they want to go with the distribution services. The moment they say that I want to go with the advisory, that is where you'll have to start recording the conversations with them. Of
Understood.
course, with due permission. That this
Understood.
is under those guidelines and you will have to maintain SEBI's regulation, you'll have to maintain it, and
Correct.
hence we are recording your conversations.
Understood.
Yes. So these are the broader things that needs to be maintained, and
Right.
all these records, Gopesh, needs to be maintained for a period of at least 5 years.
Okay.
Yes, 5 years is a mandatory thing that has to be maintained.
Understood. So I think you also referred to this KYC being an important step in the client journey. So can you talk about that more specifically for RA, and how does it look for an IA?
So Gopesh, see, absolutely KYC is very important, and now with new changes and new things, SEBI also has become quite strict with these things, and a lot of inspections, those are happening very frequently nowadays. Common violation what SEBI is finding right now is that the KYCs are not being maintained properly. Okay. So two things here, Gopesh. One, for the RAs, okay, the RAs are required to do the KYCs of the client through the KRA platform. Now there are 5-6 KRA platforms. NSC KRA is there, NDML is there, CDSL is there. There are any few others as well. Okay. CVL KRA is also there. So the RA can register themselves with any of these KRA platforms and then start doing the KYCs of each client through that KRA platform only. Okay, that is one. Second, for the RIAs, what happens? They'll have to do the KYCs through KRAs as well as through CKYC. Okay. Now, this in CKYC, what happens? Let's say if there is a client who doesn't have the CKYC, then the responsibility lies on the RIA only to do the CKYC of that client, and you cannot, and the RIA, the intermediary, cannot charge the client for it. Yes. So if I have to say that in RIA there are 2 layers of KYCs, one through KRA, one through CKYC, and in case of RA, it's through KRA.
Okay. No, that really helps. Yeah.
Yeah, but maintaining it is very, very important, and SEBI has become very strict about it.
So when you say maintaining it, like keeping a record of how the KYC was done.
Yes. So no, what happens that let's say if if there's a platform and if this KRA platform is there, you'll have to put the detail of the client and you need to fetch the KYCs of them. So usually it's an XML file that gets downloaded. You need to download that, keep it in your repository, and there's a monthly invoicing that happens for each client. For each client, there's I think 35 or 40 rupees plus GST, whatever that needs to be paid. It gets accumulated and you are invoiced at the end of the month. So Gopesh, apart from doing the KRA and the CKYCs for the RIS and the KRA for the RAs, there's one important thing that basically both the intermediaries should know that this is something that cannot be outsourced.
Okay.
Okay, this is something that cannot be outsourced and you'll have to do it in-house only. So there's a master circular by SEBI which clearly mentions the things that cannot be outsourced. So this is something which is there, and apart from that, the core activities, of course, for the IA would be giving the advisory is the core activity, it cannot be outsourced. For the RAs, it's giving the research services which cannot be outsourced. The second is the KYCs, doing the KYCs of the client. This is something that cannot be outsourced.
Got it. Perfect. So another dimension of this entire discussion is SEBI's outlook on using technology platforms to grow your business, right? So can you talk about how SEBI thinks about it, and what are some of the things to keep in mind when an advisor has to think about adopting technology solutions?
So SEBI is absolutely pro technology. They really want to, the intermediaries and all to register and to, because they also know that, this is the
correct.
next future. But yes, SEBI has certain mechanisms and certain limitations. Okay. What SEBI says is that if you want to enroll with any platform, the platform should be, SEBI compliant. Now, what I mean by SEBI compliant is that the particular platform should not be providing services to the unregistered ones.
Understood.
Yes. As long as a technology platform is providing services to the SEBI registered intermediaries, it is good. Okay. It is coming within the ambit, within the regulatory purview of the SEBI. They are complying with the regulations.
Right.
Second is, if those platforms are not giving any accuracy or assured returns and all those stuffs, if while marketing or anything, that is absolutely okay. Second, what SEBI says in its consultation paper, so any platform that has taken curative and preventive measures, then in that case, those platforms would be coming under the guidelines, and hence they would be allowed to do the services. Now, there's a draft circular consultation paper as of now that talks about what are the curative measures and what are the preventive measures. Now, once that gets implemented, we'll have to see. Of course, it talks about drafting a policy and not, and onboarding any unregistered people and all those stuffs. But then, yes, SEBI does talk about it.
Understood.
Yes.
But overall, SEBI is optimistic and wants to promote the use of technology.
Yes, absolutely.
Understood. And this draft circular, is this in public space for people to review and comment?
It is.
Okay.
It is there.
Got it. The other thing which, if I think about from an advisor's perspective, right, how do they keep themselves updated on what are the changes which are happening, right? And this is an evolving space. So what resources do you recommend that advisors should keep looking at to keep themselves fully informed?
So, Gopesh, it is a very, very important, point, because what with a lot of changes in the regulation that is happening very frequently, the quantum of compliances, the quantum of information that you need to download in your brain is too much. So there's two ways to go about it, right? One, either you sit and read the entire regulation, be updated with the circulars and the whatever notices and whatever updates that you're getting from SEBI. Keep yourself updated by yourself and then implement it. Second, to make your life easy, because the first one is going to take a lot of your time.
Correct.
Okay. But the second part, if you see, you hire an expert, you hire a professional who is well versed with the regulation, who knows what is happening, because that is their day-to-day job to do. If you hire a professional, a proper professional who is well versed with the regulations and all, they can keep you updated with all the changes. You can join their broadcast group, you can join their webinars, whatever it is. Okay, and I would really recommend for each RAs and the RIAs to have a professional onboarded, okay, to guide them so that they are on the right side of the law. Because the there's a very nice thing that I want to highlight here is that if you want to just save around 20,000, 30,000 rupees, and then you get into a non-compliant part of it, you get on the other side of the law, and then when SEBI comes with penalties and all, it's 10x of 20,000, 30,000. So I always recommend, it's always better to kind of prevent yourself from getting into such situations and hire a professional right away if people are not doing it.
And the peace of mind.
It's not a awareness problem. People are not aware that there's a professional who can help you with such things.
Correct.
Second is a little bit of people. I have seen that they want to save some money in order to not do it. So that is not something that is advised.
Got it. Great. So thanks a lot, Anjali, for this lovely conversation. I hope this is helpful to all the audiences. This is just the first of many episodes to come where we talk about the changes in this dynamic industry. And the idea is that how can we make sure that there is awareness about SEBI regulations and people can comply with not only the letter but also with the intent behind the regulations. And one thing which I like to tell advisors is that you're not alone. There's a full ecosystem here to support you in this journey of strengthening the financial capital markets and the ecosystem in India, which has to grow in a healthy manner. So I think you're not alone. All of us together are with you in this journey of making sure that Indian investors get the upside of booming capital markets in a very healthy manner. So with that, I'd like to thank Anjali again, and
Thank you so
I
much.
know that we have experts such as Anjali organizing webinars for advisors for almost on a quarterly basis, which are open to everyone, so that there could be an open discussion on what are the recent changes which have been done and how to think about it and incorporate the best practices into your day-to-day operations. So in case if anyone is interested, please feel free to reach out to us or drop your email in the comment box, and we'll make sure that the team can reach out to you and you can get to join in these webinars. So with that, I'll thank you, Anjali, again.
Thank you
Thanks for
so
your
much,
time.
Gopesh, for having me.
Yes.
Thank you so
And
much.
this is again, as I said, an ongoing conversation. Please feel free to let us know your thoughts in the comment section, and we are all here to help you in your journey. Thank you. We'll wrap this conversation here.